person is coming to my house for some reason, and they show up at the door, and I'm not there to greet them and welcome them and give them a seat. That's called rude. That's not nice. So when we call upon Krishna, we've got to be there to greet him, to, and to have a relationship. Sit down. Let me pay attention to you. Let me bring you some water. So this is our uh, the simple thing we need to do. And so that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says this inattentiveness of while chanting is the offense from which all the other offenses spring. And then when we do that, things begin to happen. Just paying attention. Uh, it, it turned out to be when we started a hard thing to do because everybody has worries, problems, troubles, difficulties, things to pull us away. Uh, Tony Bennett songs still in our heads from the old days. Hari knows. These things are there, uh, and you may read in the objection of Arjuna to Krishna, the mind is very difficult to control. It's like trying to control the wind. How can it be done? And Krishna says, oh, it can be done by suitable practice and by detachment. So we are controlling the mind. We're going to try to bring the mind on our control. And also the other thing about the mind, uh, you shouldn't feel too bad about it, because when we took birth in this body, we brought our subtle body from our previous life with us. So we don't know what garbage is in there. It's already, so it's already there. So that's either your good fortune and your bad fortune. And by the way, by the whatever practice we do, if we don't go all the way in Krishna consciousness, next life will pick up where we left off. So it's a not waste of time, even if we don't completely achieve it. But we can achieve it. Prabhupada never said it's mission impossible, that you'll never become Krishna consciousness. You can only take some baby steps because we have this very, very powerful. How can we come into a method of coming into contact with God? How do we do that? Uh, so this we have uh, uh, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, uh, made yourself available to me. And so here, from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also describes the Maha Mantra as Asta Yuga, 8 pairs of names. Yuga means a pair, among other things, 2 things together, and Ashta, 8 pairs of name. And so he says in his Harinam Chintamani, following the directions of the 8 verses of Shashastaka, how should one cultivate chanting the 16 names of the Maha Mantra? And he says these 16 names of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra are called Ashtayuga, or 8 verses. This is the verdict of the Lord. And so then he says the first verse, Hare Krishna. So he calls each pair of names a verse. The first verse, Hare Krishna, destroys one's nescience. Uh, um, One is advised to congregationally chant the holy name of Krishna with faith, Shraddha. And so the second verse, he says, the second verse, Hare Krishna, means that the Supreme Lord Krishna is omnipotent. One is advised to take shelter of the holy name in the association of the devotees. And he means here that in the steps leading from Shraddha to Prema, Sadhu Sangha and Bhajana Kriya. This process will vanquish all one's unwanted desires. And then he says, when one's unwanted desires are destroyed, one develops fixed faith. This is the anartha nirvritti. All the unwanted desires are destroyed, and then one gets fixed faith. While chanting the third verse, Krishna Krishna, one is advised to constantly chant the holy name with determination in the association of pure devotees. So this determination, this is nishta. Prabhupada always used to say, we should become fixed up in Krishna consciousness, fixed up. We should become fixed up. This is nishta. And that means, well, simply on this sort of beginning chapter, a beginning progress of chanting and then becoming nishta, fixed, is that you don't fall down. That happens. And then he says the fourth verse, chanting the fourth verse, Hari Hari, awakens one unalloyed devotion to the Lord. One is advised to congregationally chant. This translation means to chant Sankirtan. The holy name with taste. This is ruchi. Once one becomes fixed in this way, then ruchi. You'll at first you have to kind of force yourself, but once there's ruchi, you really kind of like it. You feel happiness when you sit and chant. You enjoy it. This is the ruchi. Then he says the fifth verse, Hari Rama. One is advised to become attached to the pure service and to remember the holy name of the Lord. And this is the phase of asakti. If ruchi is a taste, asakti means addiction. So first you like it when you're beginning to get, and then you become addicted. You can't live without it. It's a good addiction. Addictions are bad because you can't always get what you want, but when it's the holy name, it's right there all the time. You're with Krishna. And so this is asakti, which is, and then he says the sixth verse, Hari Rama, is chanted to develop bhava. This results in detachment from material life and a taste for Krishna's lotus feet. So bhava means ecstasy. It's and then he says, by chanting the seventh verse, Rama Rama, now listen to this one. One becomes attached to Madhurya Rasa and takes shelter of the lotus feet of Radha. This also awakens one's mood of separation. So this is prema. And the eighth verse, Hari Hari, refers to the devotees who are in the mood of the gopis and constantly engage in loving devotional service to Radha Krishna in Vraja and thus achieve the ultimate goal of life. Uh, so, first is one's mood of separation. The seventh verse is prema in separation, and then prema in union. Uh, these are his way of describing these asta yuga, 8 pairs. The word yuga in Sanskrit does mean a pair or a couple, a double shloka or something like that. So here's our path laid out before us. The people like Bhaktivinoda Thakur and others who have gone through this path have shown us the way and have uh, shared with us how to do it. And you had to remember that Bhaktivinoda Thakur is a very important person for us because he is really the place where Lord Chaitanya's movement, which was known as a peculiar religious community within Hinduism or India, becomes a world religion. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur was not only an Indian Bengali, but he was also a civil servant in the British Empire. So he had two locations, social locations. One is in the deeply deembedded in this ancient spiritual tradition from Bengali, was a Bengali, of course, and this is, Gaudiya Vaishnavism is sometimes translated as Bengali Vaishnavism, because Gauda Desh is an old name for Bengal. And so and then he was a civil servant. He was uh, uh, part of the British Empire. And so he had another bigger vision. He was familiar with the uh, uh, people like uh, um, Thoreau, Emerson, all those American transcendentalists, also called transcendentalists. There was a thing going on where there was, this kind of 19th century idealism that he also could connect with, and that people were interested in what he had to offer. So he is the one that uh, really was a kind of a world citizen, you know, and of course he kind of preached. His audience was the Bhadra Lok, this kind of Western educated elite of Bengal in Calcutta and around there. They were called. The name was the Bhadra Lok, the gentle folk. I guess I don't know why you translate it like that. Uh, and he he didn't have an ashram. He didn't. And then his son does this thing by making brahmachari ashrams and taking the next step forward. And their whole effort was a push to go to the West. They're really trying to do it, and sent people to England. But the other thing was happening was, World War II was about to begin, and there was a pause. So anyway, this is how we've gotten this today. All these we have to also, when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra, we have to be thankful for these people who did all this. And of course, then eventually, finally, Srila Prabhupada comes to the West and actually keeps it going. It goes each one step and another step and another step, but they didn't stop. It was going on. And if we want to take the next step also, uh, whatever it may be, we should also, as a group, uh, develop our own Krishna consciousness and follow this process. So with this Ado Shraddha Sadhu Sangha, this is the sequence that uh, that takes place when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. But the simple thing to begin with is deal with this offense of inattentiveness while chanting. And when we start to do it, it's very hard. Especially we live in an age of distraction. There are so many things to grab our attention, and uh, it's everywhere. People are clamoring to do it. There's a whole science of grabbing your attention, because they want you to buy things. Mostly, it's to make you addicted to various products and things, and get this, buy this, buy that. And now we have so many other distractions. So we really have to make this special time for us. I would suggest that when we chant our rounds, just make a special place. I know what I did uh, when I first started chanting. There was no temple I could even visit very easily, but I started chanting. I met the devotees, and my wife and I were living in an apartment in West Philadelphia, and uh, the lady next door understood that somehow or other she knew I'd found a religion, and she wanted to give me something. And she had she was a black lady, and her children had gone to Mecca or something. They're the black Muslims trying to become Muslims, and they brought back a Muslim prayer rug, and she gave me the prayer rug. And I found, wow, this is very nice because I could take the ordinary living room and just by putting down this prayer rug and sitting on it to chant my japa, it made a different space like that. And then I had a picture from the temple and had that out and looked at it. And that helped. So there's things you can do to make your environment conducive to chanting the holy name and following the Shastastika uh, 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 prayers of Lord Chaitanya. Uh, uh, I suggest that everyone, really look at that last chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's so many instructions in that, which you can find, and and uh, and and it will take us through this process of faith, and then association with devotees, practicing anartha nivritti should go away, the unwanted things. We have to be honest with ourselves and know what the unwanted things are. uh, uh, don't be embarrassed that we have all kinds of material desires. We brought them with us from our previous lives. Uh, but ask Krishna, why you please destroy my material desires. You can have one in particular that's your enemy, and ask the Lord to do that one, because these material desires make us stupid and block our association with Krishna. The faith is that after these things that we think we need go away, we won't be we won't be missing out on anything, and it will be more than satisfying. Um, so this verse from you can find this verse Ado Shraddha Tatu Sadhusango Ta Bhajana Kriya. We find it in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Majja Lila 3. verses 14 and 15. Uh, in the beginning, there's faith. Then, when you become interested in sadhu sangha, associating with devotees, then you become initiated. Prabhupada translates this. Therefore, one is initiated by the spiritual master and executes the regulative principles under his order. This is bhajana kriya. Uh, uh, then one is freed from all unwanted habits, anartha nirvritti. Then one is freed from all unwanted habits and become firmly fixed. This is nishta. Prabhupada used to say you should get fixed up in Krishna consciousness. This is nishta. Once nishta is there, you don't fall down. I mentioned that already. Uh, 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 Thereafter, one develops taste, uh, and then uh, attachment. I said asakti means addiction. Uh, uh, and then uh, then uh, bhava, feelings for Krishna, and then finally, when that becomes intensified, is prema. And this verse is this is the krama, the chronological order. This is the pradur bhavit kramaha. This is the chronological order of how prema becomes established in a devotee. Prabhupada translate, this is the gradual development of love of Godhead for the devotee interested in Krishna consciousness. So we should have some confidence in this. And we can't say, I'm too fallen to do this. It's like telling a doctor, I'm too sick to take this medicine. I can't do it. You can do it, but it's step by step. The next thing, the next thing, the next thing, step by step. And I remember once uh, uh, we people when some Mahajan family started to get interested in Krishna consciousness, and we would go to their house and chant, and they had an altar with all the gods. Ganesh, everybody was there, and the person who was the temple president then, every time he would go there, he would take something away until finally only Krishna was left. So, and there was even Jesus on the altar, it wasn't just the Krishna, all of it. Didn't want to miss out on anyone. So this one thing, take it away, increase your Krishna consciousness. And the thing also, be confident, Krishna takes charge. He helps. You'll meet the right people. You'll pick up the right verse. You'll open a book and the right thing you need to read, it'll be right there. You'll see that Krishna is helping. Because as much as we may want Krishna, Krishna wants us more. And that's the other thing. Krishna wants a relationship with all of us. We each have something to offer him that's unique. And he would like to enjoy that relationship. So by this method, we also find out who we are, who we really are. And uh, uh, this is nice. Oh, another thing that Bhaktivinoda Thakur does, he says these 8 pairs of names, they indicate one of these, and he has the whole uh, 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 thing like and there's two. Uh, the first Hare Krishna signifies Shraddha. The second Hare Krishna, Sadhu Sange Anartana Vritti. Do I have that chart there? I don't know if you have it. There it is, right here. See? See it? Okay. Can they see that now? Okay. You see, this is what he does, is Hare Krishna indicates this beginning Cheto Darpana Marjanam, and it signifies Shraddha. And then he also calls to the eight divisions of the day, corresponds to that too, starting with the end of night. But so then the second Hare Krishna signifies sadhu sangha. That's in the association of devotees, anartha nivritti, becoming free from anarthas. Then the third Krishna Krishna signifies nishta bhajan, chanting while being fixed. The fourth Hari Hari, Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamaya. This Hari Hari, ruchi, a taste. Then Hari Rama. Rama also means Radhika Ramana. It can be Krishna too. Rama, Balarama, Lord Ramachandra. But it also can be Radhika Ramana. You can denote whoever you want. We were accused once of, when we say Hari Rama, of meaning Balaram and not Lord Ramchandra. Some Ram Bhaktas were upset with us for that. And actually Prabhupada said, well, there's three Ramanas. There's Parashurama too. This could be three. Anyway, Hari Rama is Bhava. And then the last two, Rama Rama and Hari Hari, is Vipralamba Prema. That is Prema in separation. And then Hari Hari Prema in union, Sambhoga, and Prema Bhajan in not separation and union. So this is how he maps this the Maha Mantra and the Astakali Lila of Radha and Krishna with the the Astakali Lila. There's another way of thinking about Krishna's pastimes in these 8 divisions of the day with Radha and Krishna. If you know them all, you can also associate it with that particular pastime that takes place. That's another advanced technique. Look, maybe I should stop now and see what there's so much more. We have any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Ravindra Swarupa. I say it's really great to see you.
It's good to see you too. Yeah.
And it's a long time coming. We've wanted to have you here to give classes even before the pandemic hit. We were hoping that sometime during the summer or the fall to have you here in Philadelphia. But then once COVID hit, that all changed. And I know we had tried to have make arrangements, and none of them seemed to always work out timing wise. But we're so glad that today you are with us, and hopefully this is the beginning of more of your association that we can have.
Well, I'm happy to be here.
I went to so because we have a large number of participants, about double, maybe more than double what we typically have. Usually we have like an open format where people will just kind of open up their microphone, but because we don't want to kind of keep it kind of in an orderly fashion. If you can raise your hand to ask a question or put it in the chat, that may probably be the best way to field the questions. Vrindavaneshwari, Radhika, you have
Hare Krishna. Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much for a really enlivening class. This is some new stuff. I don't think I've heard the breaking down of the Maha Mantra this way. So I have lots of questions, but I'm going to try and distill it down to one question if I can. So in this way of looking at the Mahamantra and these 8, in the Ashtayuga, in these 8 pairings of the name, as we're chanting the Mahamantra and these, with this awareness that these are the 8 pairings of these names, is it that as we're chanting, we are, I don't know, I'm a visual thinker, so I kind of imagine, like, when you're trying to upload something, you see the bars going and it goes back to 0 and it goes back to 0. I just feel like with every mantra, we like trying to get to that top, level of, prema and union, but then we go back to the beginning. We're just kind of trying to get our strength up with each mantra. That is like, because if each progression, if each of the 8 is a progression toward that top one, then how does that? Can you clarify that?
I I wouldn't be trying to do all of that,
Okay.
but the fact is that kind of the idea of at least pair of names for me is that basically occupies a unit of consciousness, right? I mean, one name is a little short, 3 names would be too long, but Hare Krishna, that's the unit of consciousness. And so when I think of the Hare Krishna mantra, I think of 8 pairs of names: Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So it's like that. That's what you focus on, not trying to chant, 16 names, but just 8 pairs. That works out for me. And I think for most of us, that's the way it is. And you focus just on this, listen to what you're chanting and pay attention to it. And when you notice there's a distraction, the mind wanders. And I have to say to the really good news, we were told you're not your body. And to me, the even better news is you're not your mind. So, so you can, and who knows what's in there. So you just focus like this. And that's chanting on the clearing stage. From this inattentiveness, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is from which all the offenses spring. That's the one to deal with while you're chanting. And then gradually, you enter into, I don't know how to describe it, a different dimension. The super soul is with us and very, very close. In fact, it's closer than we can imagine. And yet that gradually becomes, you're never alone. You're always with Krishna. And he takes charge of our senses also, which is really nice. And then, takes over who we meet, who we don't meet, what tests we have to pass and everything. So he wants us back more than we want him, which is good to know. We'll have our good days and bad days. The astrology changes, and sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's harder. We go through our different periods, but you just if you have a difficult day, it's really hard. There's a lot of distractions. Your car broke down. You're sitting by the highway. You have so many worries come about. You just go back to it again and don't give up.
Thank you, Prabhu. So then I guess these 8, these 8 pairings then are just to remind us of the stages.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I mean, this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's way over my head, but this is what I found a way to think of them as 8 pairs of names, and what somebody of his mentality sees in all of that is probably way beyond my level, but we'll see what happens.
Haryashra Prabhu, you have your hand physically raised. So I just a clarification, if people can digitally raise their hand, that would be the easiest to see. But Haryashra Prabhu.
These are called digits too, by the way.
You're on Haryashra, you have to turn your off on mute. Haryashra Prabhu, you're on mute.
You're muted. You have to unmute himself.
Uh, I can ask
Do
him.
you unmute him? Who unmutes him?
He unmutes him. He has to do it himself, but I can ask him to.
Okay.
There
All
you go.
right.
There hey, there you go.
So Hare Krishna. So my question is about steadiness. I To me, chanting is like in the process is like holding my consciousness, keeping my consciousness with the name. As I'm chanting, I want to hear. So who's listening? I'm listening. So my consciousness has to stay. I have to stay aware that I'm listening. And sometimes it works, and then sometimes, as you know, the mind gets me in there, and it has so many different ways of coming in to snatch my consciousness to take it somewhere else. So my question is, in the process of sadhana and our practice of devotional life, is it that until our practice becomes a little more internal and steady, is that what enables us to stay conscious? Because we're trying. I mean, I'm trying to stay there, but something happens that at times it goes away. Why am I going? I don't really want to go. So to me, to not go there means that I've become steady in my determination to stay with the holy name. But that lack of steadiness appears to mean that I haven't reached a certain point in my practice. And I don't think it's just the japa. I think it's the other things that I'm doing throughout the day as well. And that's pretty much what I'm trying to figure out. Why can't I stay?
Okay. Prabhupada said we chant 16 rounds on the beads and innumerable rounds off the beads. So actually, we should aspire to have the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra go on all the time. Prabhupada, I was in a car with Prabhupada, and the person who was driving the car was also chanting the holy name. Now, that wasn't the perfect attention we give japa, but Prabhupada was happy that he was chanting while driving the car. So you may notice that a lot of what we do doesn't require all our attention. I mean, sometimes when you drive the car, you should be paying close attention, but while you're at the stoplight or, there's all time. So one should actually and Prabhupada said this, 16 rounds on the beads, innumerable rounds off the beads. So we should be always chanting Hare Krishna under any circumstances. And that takes faith to do that too, because a lot of times our mind is occupied just with a kind of worry that isn't even as productive. It's just nervousness. What am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about that? You're not solving a problem. You're just expressing your anxieties or whatever, or your desires or whatever. Stop that stuff and just, put the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in there. So I think and by doing that all the time too, you'll also become more and more conscious of Krishna's continuous presence with you in your body. Your cellmate is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and and when you say Krishna consciousness, what does that mean? That you're always conscious of Krishna, and that at first that consciousness is dim, but then as we become more purified and accept the things that are favorable and get rid of the unfavorable thing, that presence becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and finally it's bigger than our own. That's an advanced stage of Krishna consciousness. He's more important than we are. And he's there, bigger than we are. This will happen. So chant all the time.
Good. Good.
I hope that answered your question. No? Or did I miss what you want to know?
No, it really did. It's like stopping the japa. Keep the japa going. Keep the prayer. Keep it's the constant companion. Keep it
Mhm.
going.
Yeah, good.
Okay. Okay. Now listen. There's no need of being shy. Okay, Mother Renica, you can ask your questions. Let's get the questions out.
Well,
Stay
we
with.
have a
Let's
couple
get the
people that are
questions
raised
out.
their hand. We have a couple
Hare Krishna.
people that have their hands up here. So the
Okay.
Sukada and Krishna Kirtan, Sukada Prabhu and Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. Sukada Prabhu, you're first, I think.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my
Hare
humble
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhupada.
See you
How
again.
are you?
Very well,
It was,
thank you.
it was very nice the way you described that chart I was looking at, the 8 Sistastaka verse. But sometimes when we do chant, is it, means I know you just, said something about 16 rounds and then 24 hours, or whenever you are, chant as many as rounds you can. But even the 16 rounds, sometimes we get distracted. So many things comes up, and so how we can focus on this? If we can focus on these 8 Sistastaka verses, it really takes you to the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But how can we set our mind to that?
Well, it just has to, I think it's just constant practice and detachment. Those two things are necessary because certainly, I mean, things happen and we have to worry about this or worry about that. So I mean, sometimes you just have to put down your bead to do something when, a child is about to pour boiling water over himself or something like that. That's okay, but a lot of the stuff is just a distraction. Distracted from distraction by distraction. One poet wrote about the modern world. It's there's just so many things to pull our attention away, and Prabhupada's formula was constant practice and detachment. It also takes faith not to worry. Most of the time, our worrying about problems or difficulties is just spinning our wheels. We don't get anywhere. It's just an expression of anxiety. It's not even fruitful problem solving. So, and it takes faith that, if I pay attention to Krishna and I keep Krishna close to me, that he'll help me when the time comes to deal with all these different problems and obstacles that come in my life, spiritual or material or things like that. That's that requires faith and some reliance that Krishna will take care of the devotees, and he does that. And if you rely on Krishna, I mean, there's a lot. There was a time when I thought I was going to be homeless practically, Okay, I just chant Hare Krishna and keep going. And just worrying about it is not going to solve the problem, so I that's uh, just, yeah, constant practice and detachment. Krishna, you know better than me. You know how to take care of me. You know how to solve my problems. You know how to help me in my Krishna consciousness. You know how to increase the things that are good for Krishna consciousness to help me become free from attachments that are not productive. Please do that. That's when we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. That's what we mean. When we say, the meaning of the mantra is please engage me in your service, it can be a particular service that we really want to do, you can ask for that. You can ask for a service. And also, please disengage me from something that's blocking. That's also another way of calling on Krishna. Please take care of this or help me with this problem or that. You can do that because that's also paying attention to Krishna and calling on him.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Krishna Kirtan here. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Prabhupada. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so nice to have you here today. Thank you, Dhananjay Prabhu and Haryasha Prabhu for arranging this. It's amazing thing you mentioned to this verse, dividing into 8 pairs. That's interesting because I really didn't want to miss to ask this question. Many times it's easy. It is said that you should concentrate on each syllable while you're chanting. But sometimes very difficult to meditate on each syllable. Sometimes easy to meditate on the pair, like Hare Krishna is easier than Hare and Krishna. Now, I really wanted to, for me, it's a very practical question. Is it okay to meditate on Hare Krishna, then Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare? Or it's very important that no, you have to meditate and concentrate on each syllable, like Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, like what is did I make my question clear?
Yeah, I think so. I think that to concentrate on each syllable is a way of just saying, don't be distracted. I mean, because it's if you want to chant Hari Rama, a lot of times you can say Hari Ram, Hari Ram. They barely hear that final A. That's Sanskrit. The last, the final unaccented A is like Hari Rama, Hari Rama. And people say Ram, Ram, because there's the little Bengali or Hindi or something way of saying it, So it's not that we have to be so punctilious about like saying it that way. The thing is to keep our mind on the holy name. And I just found that for myself, thinking of the unit that I'm comfortable with is this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, like that. To me, that's the sort of a pair of names is a unit of consciousness, you might say, for me. I think it's all right because Thakur does it that way.
Right, it makes easy for me to chant as a pair, like Hare Krishna,
Yeah,
Krishna.
I think that's fine. Uh-huh.
And now, considering this, you divide into 8 pairs, and 8 pairs has purposes or meanings or realizations it can give. And at the end, you said that Rama Rama Hare Hare. One is love in association. The other one is love in separation. Am I right?
Yeah, Ram Ram, it signifies Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And I'm not on that level when I can think of one of these things. But he said he does this. He says it signifies Vipralamba prema in separation. But the significant thing is that prema is first in separation. And then Hari Hari is prema in union, Sambhoga. Yeah, that's what he Vipralamba prema and prema bhajan and Sambhoga. Anyway, this is the way he does this according to the 8 pairs of names. Asta Yuga.
So it means this Mahamantra has everything in it, completeness, and up to perfection. And as a devotee, sometimes maybe that devotees are not chanting properly, and many times it happens that last 2 syllables are not chanted very clearly. So does it mean that they will not attain the prema, but they may attain other stages?
Uh, it depends on the person. I can't tell you about that. Uh, yeah. Somewhere, Prabhupada mentions, I think Lord Chaitanya saying, Haraye Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Gopala Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudana. And I think I remember that Prabhupada saying it's another way of chanting the Maha Mantra, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you know, the Maha Mantra is this is called the Maha Mantra, but there are other ways, you know, that you can say the Maha Mantra. Apparently, anyway, we follow this one, but that one is
No,
Hare
no,
Nama
actually,
Krishna.
maybe I did a mistake. Actually, sometimes when devotees at the beginning stage, people chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So sometimes you find that last one syllable is missing. They chant fast and they kind of eat. We
No,
did it at the
no,
beginning.
it's better to make sure you say the whole words very clearly, even if you're advanced. But yeah, better to say it very clearly.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu, we missed you so much here in Philadelphia. I mean,
Well, I miss Philadelphia too. Yeah.
yes, I like to know exactly where you are. I heard one time you're in Washington, then I heard you're in New York. Just try to find out where is your location.
I'm in what's called upstate New York. It's about half an hour's drive south of Albany, the state capital. There's a train track that goes straight down to New York City from here. You know? So this is a place called Stuyvesant Falls in New York. We have you look west, you can see the Catskills, and you look east, and you can see the Berkshires, and it's the Hudson Valley. It's called the Hudson River runs down, and so and there's Satsrup Maharaj is here, and lots of devotees. A little colony of us out here. That's where I ended up.
Second thing, Prabhu, there are so many deaths in my family in the last few years, and one thing you taught me about the definition of death. Do you remember that? Definition of death. Could you repeat that again for me?
I'm trying to remember what it was now.
It's a definition of death. It was such a beautiful thing you taught me, and it's still completely going in my mind, and you comes in my mind. If you remember me, I appreciate it.
What did I say it was?
And anyway, thank you.
No, tell me what is it? I'm trying to remember what it was.
It was it's concerned regarding a death, definition of death.
Yeah, right.
And you defined that in such a beautiful manner.
You don't remember what it was either, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
I'm trying to. It'll take me a while. Slow download at my age with my mind. It'll come up. Oh, the ultimate failure to perpetuate relationships.
That's it. That's it.
It took a while to come down. Yeah.
That is that. Thank you.
Ultimate failure to perpetuate relationships. So that's why, not only is a relationship with Krishna beyond death, but also devotees. Prabhupada said he said, we are eternal associates. We shall have another ISKCON in the spiritual sky. He said, so we are eternal associates. Yeah. The ultimate failure to perpetuate. Where did I read that? Yeah. That'll come back where I came from. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Please visit us in Philadelphia.
I'll give them all out when we can visit anywhere. Yeah.
Okay, we got two devotees with their hands up. First was Mother Renuka, and then Mother Chintamani. After that, so. Go ahead, Mother Renuka.
Yeah, thank you, Hare Krishna, Dronacharya Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Ravindra Swarupa Prabhuji. 2 weeks back, I think last week or something like that, Haryasva Dasa Prabhuji gave like a pep talk, like, so and so is coming, so and so is coming. Like, there was some hype built up like a couple of weeks back. And and yesterday Dronacharya Prabhu sent like a separate email just mentioning your name, so and so is coming. I want everybody to be there. I was thinking, who is this dude? Okay. So much hype about this guy. So I went and Googled your name, like Ravindra Swarupa Prabhu. And then, then it took me to this website, rsdasa.com. And I was like, simply blown away with that website, how that website and everything was put up. But this is the digital age. You can get you can get a good IT guy to design your website, and you can everything can be accentuated and extrapolated like 10 times bigger, depending upon the IT guy who designs your website. Okay, so I thought, okay, I'm going to check out this guy today. And I am simply super blessed. I mean, I must have done some good karma in my, I don't know which life, which life it is, but I'm super blessed to hear you alive, and thank you so much.
Well, I also from websites and all that stuff, I have to thank Shraddha. She's my tech support, among other things.
She did an awesome job. And that actually, I went and Googled my own Prabhuji, like Vishnugata Dasa Prabhuji, and I was like thinking, so he should be having vgdasa.com. I didn't find that, and I was like going vishnugata.dasa.com. No, he didn't have it. Like, so hopefully, if he gives me a chance, I'll try to do something similar to that, probably, like that. But I'm super blessed to be in your to listen to your speech today. And it was really whatever you said is very true, and this is my day. This is my 3rd month into this ISKCON style of praying Lord Krishna. I'm super blessed to hear you, and whatever you said is very true. And I've slowly started seeing some small changes in my attitude, in my mindset, in how I'm looking at things. From smart thinking, I'm moving towards good thinking. Like from smart decision making, I'm moving towards good decision making. And from intellectual thinking, I'm moving to the moral compass is going towards what is right, what is good, and more towards the human values, more towards the value-based living, and more principled and all that. I see that small attitude shift happening in me, and I think this is really wonderful. And whatever you said, like every single word you said in today's class, that basically echoed my journey from the last 2.5, into the 3rd month now. Thank you so much.
I'm very happy to be of service. Thank you.
Yeah. Your actual talk, your real live presence is much 1,000 times better than your website. Your website is already very good. So you're the real dude. Thank you so much.
Okay,
what our website is better than we are, maybe you're in trouble.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Mother Chintamani?
You're welcome.
We can't hear you, Mother Chintamani.
Do you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna. I feel so very grateful that you've blessed us with your presence. This is Chintamani from Gita Nagari. And I have so many wonderful memories, and it's permanently etched in my heart, the great shelter that you've given us all here at Gita Nagari. And I'm so grateful you blessed us with your association today. I want to thank you for all the wonderful points that you've made in your class. I really appreciate that you said that when we chant the Maha Mantra, we should be grateful for the devotees who did all this. And often I tend to keep my function on Srila Prabhupada and, am so grateful for all he's given, but you've given a nice reminder that we should look back at that parampara as well and see all the sacrifices that were made that we can have this Maha Mantra. So I will most certainly keep that in mind. I want to thank you, as so many devotees have said, about giving us the guidance about the 8 prayers. And for me, that is a reminder to give me hope that no matter how poor my chanting is on any given day, that there's hope, that there's purity that can come in the future. So I'm so much grateful for that. And I really love the statement you made that these material desires make us stupid and block our connection with Krishna. So oftentimes I wonder, like Chintamani, like after hearing so many instructions on this matter, like, why are you so dull? So I'm appreciative that you reminded us it's these material desires that make us stupid. So on that note, I would like to ask you, can you speak? Oh, and I also want to thank you about reminding us about prayer and all the beautiful ways that you told us that we can keep in mind that Krishna is right in our heart and he loves us and he's always there for us. So thank you for that encouragement. So can you please share a bit more about some of the subtle ways that the mind kind of tricks us that can keep us away from our focused and attentive chanting? Some of the little tricks and pitfalls that we could keep our eyes open for.
I just think that in general, there's 2 things. One is attachments, material attachments, and the other is material aversions. The push-pull, love-hate, approach and avoidance. I just think that sometimes we think that when we have those attachments and aversions and we start to dwell on them, it's actually a lack of faith, because the faith means that if I have Krishna consciousness, I will not be lacking in anything. Because you do have to take time. You have to take time where you would be making money, where you would be doing this, where you could be doing that. That's the definition of faith. That firm conviction that if I attain Krishna consciousness, I will be satisfied in all respects. Nothing will be missing, and I'll be better than I could ever do on my own schemes and plans and all those other kind of things. And that is that to me is like the meaning of faith, I think.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mother Suman has a question.
Hare Krishna, very nice to meet you after a long time. And I this is just the personal thing. When my kids were in like 8th and 9th grade, and we had a program in Arya's family home program, and you were also there, and my son was taking food from the kitchen to living room, and then you put your hand on my son's shoulder, and I felt so blessed that time. And I used to write journal those days, and recently I found that note, and I read that you blessed my son with putting your hand on his shoulder. And when my son came this happened recently, I found when I was cleaning my drawer, I found that note from my journal, and I showed it to my son also. I was so happy to find that note. It's a nice memory, and I used to write journal those days. Thank you very much. Nice to see you. And I've been really blessed to have so many association with you. When my kids were growing up, and I used to go to temple. So I hope Krishna bless you. And thank you. Thanks. Nice to see you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Drona?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So are we past questions? I want to say something.
Please.
Um, so Ravindra, well, one thing I'm always going back. I was thinking of something, Ravindra Swarupa, I was thinking about this thing about my consciousness, and I was thinking that just like if a married person stays, they're it's always they're always conscious that they're in a relationship because they have a certain affection. If I can remember the relationship with the holy name, keep that remembrance that I'm aspiring to have a wonderful relationship, then I think I'll stay conscious of him during the day, and then I think it'll help me. I'm in a relationship. I'm aspiring to be in a deeper relationship. From here, and I was thinking, I was looking back, and that's what I got out of it. And the other thing is that I want to personally thank you so very much, because I know it takes a lot. You have to do a lot of things, and you took your time, and I'm very grateful. But although I'm grateful, I'm not shy to solicit that you come again and maybe break down more of the shishas again. Now, you don't have to answer me now with all the people looking at you like that. But, I remember one time you told me something. You said, because I was always trying to get me to be Christian conscious, and when you came back to Philly, I had joined and I was initiated, and you gave me a benediction. You said, I always told you to be like your brother. Maybe I should have told you to be more like yourself. You said, so if ever I can help you, I always will. So I didn't forget that. Okay, so we're trying so in Philadelphia to revitalize that preaching spirit. And ultimately, that means to develop our relationship with Krishna and his devotees. So when you go back, if you think about it and you think that you'd like to come and help me again, then Shraddha can let me know. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you so very much. Now, I want y'all to give me a big heart, but Drona, unmute yourselves and let's let them feel the love.
If you take your cameras as well, that would be good too.
Bring your cameras out. Let's say Hare Krishna. Let's do the mantra. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Do it again. One more time. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I told you, you guys are so beautiful.
That was
so thank you so much for being Prabhu. Thank you, Shraddha. This only happens because Mother Shraddha, she hears my prayers and pleas, and it's always trying to help me. So I don't see you, but thank you so much, Mother Shraddha. She's so dear to me also. Hare Krishna. Glory to Srila Prabhupada.
It makes it all possible.
And thank Mother Sudamini. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, and I was the one who was asking about my, telling about my son, because my video was not on. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Okay. Next week, let's go. Thank you, guys. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Let's close it. Vancha kalpa, trubhyascha, kripa sindubhya evacha, patitanam pavanebhyo, vaishnavebhyo, namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Chintamani. Hare Krishna, Devaki.
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Ravindra. Thank you for being here.